going on, guys? Aquan are back in another video, and we are finally here. The top 10 albums of the year from New York, of course. Really excited to give you all this video. There was so much content I reviewed this year, so much we just get through, and I really enjoyed it. Overall, I would say there was a decent amount of albums that I was a really big fan of this year, and a lot of artists who I was really happy to hear from and came out with strong records. So I'm excited to talk about this. Before we get into it, a couple of honorable mentions. First and most significant honorable mention has to go to A$AP Rock with Integrated Technology. Full disclosure, I'm going to be honest, I literally just don't know how to review this record, honestly. If you know anything about A$AP Rock, you know that he's an extremely technical rapper, and trying to listen and comprehend what he was saying was just a bit too difficult, and I didn't sort of trust my ability to rank it. Like, I know it's an amazing record, but I don't know where I would rank it because I can't. There's so much about the album that I still haven't unpacked yet. It would probably be, if we had to put anywhere, it'd be in that top 5 range, but I don't know where we'd go in that. Couple other ones that were solid but just didn't quite make the cut. Koi by Coi Leray. I really liked it when it first came out, and it definitely is the best Coi Leray album I've heard so far. Coi Leray came into her own, really killed it vocally, and embraced the dance music, but it fell out of my rotation pretty quick, and there were a couple of flaws on it and a couple of really low lights. Also, Favi's Without Warning was really close to making it. Great, improvement on the writing. Awesome to see Favi delve into the mixtape game a little bit. And it was awesome to also see him grow as a rapper and as a writer, but just a little bit too monotonous for me. And finally, we also have, for last honorable mention, Jay Worthy and Rock Marciano's Nothing Bigger Than the Program. I really enjoyed this album as an introduction to Rock Marciano lyrically. I really liked the way that they played off of each other. But similarly to the Favi album, it was just a little bit too repetitive for me, and also just from an excitement standpoint, I didn't get much from it. So, with that being said, let's get into it. Starting with number 10, Tech by Lil TJ. This is pretty much, for me, the album that has officially cemented TJ as a mainstream mainstay in the New York hip-hop sphere. This, for me, is the top off to an incredible 3-album run, starting with Virgo World. I discovered his music this year, and Editor Ahmed here. Introduce was definitely the wrong word. What I really mean was, after taking a break from his music, I re-engaged with it and understood his music in a better and more favorable light, which allows me to appreciate it overall more. And I feel like Tech was really his ability to come into his own and show the world how good he is at creating melodies, creating soundscapes, and it was great to see him experiment with all different kinds of production on this album. Writing-wise, of course, Tech is never going to be, J. Cole or Nas, but he finds his own way to provide his own great value, and I really feel like he adds a lot to the diversity. Also, I think this is the album where he officially departs into his own lane rather than sort of staying in the A-Boogie melodic lane of what was expected of him. He's evolved from that place. Next, at number 9, we got Magic 3, which I actually like more than Magic 2. This is Nas really being reflective. This was the last Hit Boy and Nas album that, a little collab that they're going to come together with. It was a great reflexive piece on Nas's life so far and a lot of what he feels sort of in this current moment. It was interesting to hear him talk about different aspects of the world that have changed and how he's responded to that change. And while some people may call his perspective old head, I think that at this age, that's what we should come to expect from rappers pushing 50. So yeah, with Magic 3. Also, Soul Beats by Hit Boy were really good on that. Really enjoyed the production. Wasn't as complex as, say, a King's Disease 3 or King's Disease 1, but still solid effort by Hit Boy. At number 8, we are going to have Pink Friday by Nicki Minaj. Really a record of her sort of taking a break, coming back after a 5-year hiatus, and really engaging with her newfound place in hip-hop. and just in life in general, engaging with motherhood as well as her newfound sort of the face of sort of the mother of female rap. And getting into her influence. It was great to see her back, still hungry as ever, and returning to the melodies that we have come to expect from her from earlier days. I felt like it was a solid mix of quality rapping and singing from what felt like early Nicki Minaj, but also the maturity that we would expect from Nicki Minaj in 2022. Wish the project was a little bit shorter, but overall, really enjoyed it. At number 7, we have an album, Sleepy Hollow's Boy Meets World. And I was really impressed with this one. I feel like Sleepy Hollow's kind of been on a progression when it comes to finding his sound. And with this one, I feel like he perfectly figured it out and didn't sacrifice, the alluring opportunity to have a hit for the sake of engaging in a perfect soundscape for him. That when it comes to drill, he has evolved the sound in its entirety, making drill something that you can sort of understand more deeply and appreciate the mindset of, rather than just big hits and industrial soundscapes. I think his use of acoustic and soul samples was absolutely incredible, and I really enjoyed what he had to offer on Boy Meets World. I'm super curious to see where his artistic evolution takes him from here. At number 6, and man, I am so proud of this guy for this, because he was somebody who I definitely counted out. This was somebody where I didn't think that we would get another quality potential New York classic out of this guy. But at number 6, we have 222 by Lil TJ, and this album, I think, I wouldn't even go as far as to certainly say this album represents maturity. More, it represents an improved ability to express himself. That is really what I got from this record and why I like it so much. You take songs like Nobody, you take songs like January 22nd. It's not that he's necessarily giving you a new content matter, but his ability to express his feelings and also his artistic standard and the quality of music that he's putting out, just in terms of its listenability, has grown so much. And it's great to see that, after all this time, 4 years in the game, TJ has still found ways to progress lyrically. That's been really impressive. So yeah, absolutely, Lil TJ, number 6. Number 5, we got Fortune Favors the Bold by Dave East. And honestly, I really enjoyed this track list. This was kind of my main introduction to Dave East as, like, a music critic, right? Like, I listened to Dave East earlier, but I hadn't really considered his music, all that deeply. But sort of as a music critic, this newfound look at Dave East, I really enjoyed what he had to offer. I feel like, rapping wise, his abilities go kind of underrated with how good his punchlines are and how good he is at being honest and how consistent he's been over the years. I felt like with this project, he was able to do a lot of really good storytelling, as well as give us a lot of different modes on this song, from more party twerk fun songs to more serious cuts. I feel like diversity-wise, Dave East had a lot of stuff to offer on this record. I also really like the features on this album. I felt like all of them did a really great job, and I'm really excited to see that Dave East is willing to delve in different aesthetics sonically. Number 4, we have Won't He Do It with Conway the Machine. Now, when it comes to Won't He Do It, in my opinion, this caps off one of the greatest 3-album runs in New York history. I genuinely believe that. From God Don't Make Mistakes, from King to a God to God Don't Make Mistakes to Won't He Do It, this 3-album run has been amazing, and Won't He Do It keeps up that similar quality. Obviously, it's not quite as good as Conway's prior works, and I do hope that he takes a break at some point, because I think that his verses are getting a little oversaturated. But with this project in particular, his gospel themes, his punchlines were at an all-time high, and it was so good to see him embrace his drum work label. Overall, this year in general, it's been great to see him embrace his drum work label. But to see all those guys show up on the album and give such incredible performances, but still see that Conway vision was absolutely incredible. I loved how this felt like so much of an amalgamation of what Conway has been doing up to this point, from the rock that we saw on Flesh on My Flesh, to the sort of distorted jazz that we see on Brunswick's, to the overt jazz that we see on Chosen. It's kind of a bits and pieces, even the trap beats, while I'm not a crazy fan, the trap beats we saw on Super Bowl, right? It's kind of an amalgamation of all of the moments that we've seen throughout him all this time, sort of put into one. And I feel like he absolutely executed this concept really well. And I think that this was a really good project. Number 3, please listen to this album. I cannot stress this enough. Everybody go listen to this album. We're talking about Soul by Lady London. And all I can say is, I'm going to say it 1,000 times, she proved everybody wrong. Definitely proved me wrong. Lady London came in the game with hot freestyles, hot features, and the question was always, what would the debut album sound like? How is the debut out? Can she make songs? And she knocked it out of the park. The R&B aesthetics that this thing is drenched with are absolutely incredible. The thematic nature of this album with the zodiac signs is executed beautifully. The features fit into Pop Potkit perfectly. There are so many strong songs on this album. And I'm so impressed with the writing, because while you see that her freestyles and stuff carried over, it's not in this way of her trying to be lyrical or her trying to give you the craziest bars. It's the great rapping assisting a wonderful concept, assisting good song ideas, and most importantly, assisting good musical direction. I'm so proud of Lady London for this project, and I really hope this project gets more attention, because honestly, this was one of the strongest projects I heard this year. Number 2, and these last 2 are going to be a little bit underground. Y'all may not know about these. I did talk about them on my channel a couple of times. Let's get into it. Number 2, we have actually a project from the end of 2022 with It's Only Us by Mickey Fax. And I really like this project. I heard it, maybe about February, March of 2022. And I felt like I really liked the approach that Mickey Fax took, because Mickey Fax, if you don't know, is an OG battle rapper. And I really like the approach he took of, like, at first sort of, giving us this pure self-reflection record, and then going into how he thinks the youth should do better here, and here. And then for the rest of the album, he takes the time to say, hey, now that I've told you what to do, I'm going to tell you how I've made those same mistakes. I don't want you to think that I'm, up here and I've never made these mistakes. And not only do I think that it makes him seem a lot more personable, but and it's a wonderful concept, but I also think that for people seeking his advice, for people seeking that advice from older figures, it gives people an ability to look out for some of the mistakes that they can make and some of the situations that they can find themselves making mistakes in. I really like how he covered so many different topics, from love to business to friendships. I feel like when it came to life advice, he really covered all bases. And overall, I really feel like he, the concept of here's my advice, and then also here is where I've made mistakes, where my experience was super, super strong. Also, I really like the soul chops on this cut. There was a song where he sampled Brent Faiyaz that was absolutely incredible, but overall, Ayo in the mix with the production was absolutely incredible. And number 1, you see I got the shirt on me right now. We got Abolish Uncertainty by Jay Skis. And oh my goodness, this album is absolutely incredible. A solid, concise album, beautiful jazz, and industrial instrumentation throughout the album. The beats were so lush, with so many interesting instruments, and it felt almost like anti-trend, the way that some of the stuff was hitting. It felt so organic and natural. It was a beautiful experience production-wise. There was so much diversity throughout, so many different things to hear. And then lyrically, it was insane, because it felt like every song was about its own specific thing. His ability to paint pictures, his ability to tell stories was just so incredible. This was my first time ever hearing Jay Skis, And honestly, similar to Lady London, I had expected him to be a lyrical, miracle, spiritual guy because of the stuff that I had heard from him before this album. But delving into this album, you can see how good he is at expressing his ideas, expressing his feelings, and most importantly, expressing what he's been through. Songs like Auntie's Crystals and Burner Phone are must listens from 2023. He absolutely smoked this album, and I'm super proud of him for what he put out. So, yeah. That is my top 10 albums of the year. Let me know what albums y'all like. Let me know what I placed wrong. Let me know what I placed right. I really enjoyed listening to New York music with you all for this year, and hopefully we're going to keep it pushing. Let me know what y'all think. With that being said, peace, y'all.